The snow came down like a warning no one wanted to hear, thick and fast, swallowing the road and the world beyond it. The quiet streets of Austin, usually bustling with life, were now cloaked in snow, the city at a rare standstill. Cars struggled through the wet streets, their headlights cutting through the darkness. It was in the middle of this storm that a small act of kindness would echo far beyond the icy streets. Jessica, a young veterinary student, was just trying to make it home after a long shift at the shelter. Her old coat barely offered protection from the biting wind. She walked swiftly, eager to escape the cold nipping at her skin, each step muffled by the thick blanket of snow beneath her feet. Though accustomed to the chill and the struggle of late hours, tonight felt different. The world felt quieter, colder. The intersection on 6th Street lay ahead, cars honking and sliding in the snow, their engines groaning in protest. Amid the chaos of the street, Jessica's world would soon focus on one single moment, an unspoken choice that would change everything. Before we dive in, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Your thoughts mean a lot to us. If you enjoy heartwarming stories of kindness like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring story. And don't forget to share this with someone who could use a little extra kindness today. Then it happened. A flash of movement, a small dog darting across the street, its tiny legs working furiously against the snow. Cars rushed by, too late to react, speeding toward the helpless animal. Time seemed to slow as Jessica didn't think, she acted. Without hesitation, she sprinted into the intersection, narrowly avoiding the cars, and scooped the dog into her arms just before another vehicle barreled down the lane. The dog, shivering and soaked in snow, was safely in her arms. As she pulled the dog onto the sidewalk, Jessica could feel its tiny heart racing, its breath short and fearful. She held it tightly, wrapping her arms around the small creature to shield it from the cold. The world around her kept spinning, cars honking, people rushing by, but she remained frozen in that moment, her focus entirely on the dog she had just saved. The peace was fleeting. The unmistakable growl of a motorcycle engine pierced the air, a warning that cut through the storm's silence. Francis, dressed in leather and sporting the unmistakable Hell's Angels colors, approached. His presence was as commanding as the engine of his Harley-Davidson, making it clear he wasn't someone to mess with. He stood beside Jessica and the dog, watching her with a sharp, unreadable gaze. His voice was calm but heavy with authority as he spoke. "Is this your dog?" Jessica, still catching her breath, hesitated. The weight of the situation hit her. She wasn't prepared for this. "No, I couldn't leave it in the street," she stammered. Francis studied her closely, his silence stretching between them before he nodded slowly. "Thank you for saving him. He belongs to me, but in my world, debts are sacred." Jessica didn't understand, but she nodded, sensing the gravity of the moment. Francis's presence was powerful, yet strangely calm. But beneath that calm was something much darker. Days passed, but Jessica couldn't shake the strange encounter. Life continued, school, work at the shelter, studying. She tried to focus on her future, but the memory of the dog, the icy street, and Francis's words haunted her. "Debts are sacred." She wondered what he meant. Was it just a biker's way of showing gratitude, or was there something darker behind his words? As time went on, Francis's presence became a shadow she couldn't escape. He never contacted her again, but she knew he was still watching, his silence hanging over her like a storm she couldn't prepare for. Francis wasn't one to leave loose ends. He had connections, resources, favors, people who owed him, and he knew how to find what he needed. He wasn't hasty. He watched Jessica from a distance, learning her routine. The simple life she led, work at the shelter, volunteering, her kindness, drew him in. But it also made her vulnerable, unaware of the forces now taking an interest in her. One evening, as the storm subsided and the cold night settled, Francis parked his Harley-Davidson outside the shelter. He watched from the shadows as Jessica stepped out, her breath visible in the cold. He studied her quietly, knowing that her simple act of kindness had already set her on a path she couldn't turn back from. One evening, after another long shift at the shelter, Jessica walked home through the quiet streets. She barely noticed the motorcycle parked by the curb until the engine started, its low growl cutting through the night. There, beside the Harley-Davidson, stood Francis. His imposing figure cast a long shadow in the dim streetlight. The familiar leather jacket, the cold intensity in his eyes, it all hit Jessica at once. Her heart raced as she recognized him, the biker who had thanked her for saving his dog. But tonight, there was something more to him, something unsettling in the way he stood there, his gaze fixed on her. "You saved my dog, and now I'm here to repay you. But in my world, nothing is free," he said, his voice calm but firm. Jessica stopped, her breath catching in her throat. This wasn't what she expected. She looked at the bike, then back at him, the tension thick in the air. "What do you want from me?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Francis didn't answer right away. Instead, he held out the dog's collar, now cleaned and restored. The worn edges and frayed fabric had been replaced, as if the dog's very life had been renewed by this small act. "You didn't just save a dog, you saved something that matters to me," he said quietly. Jessica took the collar, confused. She didn't understand his words, but the weight of them settled in her chest, her fingers trembling as she held it. "Kindness isn't always returned in the way you expect," he continued, his eyes fixed on her. "I just wanted to help." Jessica whispered, her voice a mix of confusion and fear. "I know," Francis said, stepping closer. "But kindness like yours changes things, and sometimes that comes with a price." Jessica stood frozen as Francis turned and walked back to his motorcycle, leaving her standing in the street, the collar heavy in her hands. What did he mean? What was the price? The next week, Jessica received a call, an offer for a position at one of the most prestigious veterinary clinics in Austin. The pay was better than anything she could have imagined, a life-changing opportunity. But the more she thought about it, the more she wondered, what's the catch? The danger didn't come in the form of threats. It came in the form of opportunities, of promises that seemed too good to be true, debts that couldn't be repaid with money alone. Jessica had saved a dog, but now she realized she had unknowingly accepted something much more complicated. From her apartment window, she could feel the weight of it all pressing down on her. This world she had stepped into wasn't one of simple kindness. It was a world where every favor came with strings attached. And now she was caught in the middle, unsure of how to navigate the forces at play. Across the street, Francis watched from the shadows, a faint smile on his lips. He knew the price Jessica would pay. But for him, it wasn't about revenge or punishment. It was about a lesson in loyalty, respect, and the weight of kindness. As Jessica faces the unknown path ahead, she's forced to confront the price of kindness and the dangerous world she's now entangled in. If you've been moved by this story and believe in the power of small acts of kindness, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share your story. How has kindness impacted your life? If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story. And remember, share this with someone who could use a reminder that even the smallest gesture can lead to life-changing moments. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more stories of everyday heroes.